Hey guys, what's up? I'm Rosie, and I thought that I would share with you guys about the time. This is a 2-for-1 and some second grade memories. And the first one is about the time my cousin got her bike stolen, and the second one is about the time she got beat up after school. This isn't to cause any kind of embarrassment or anything for her. I don't even think she knows I have my own YouTube channel, and even if she does, I'm not going to give her name. So anyways, the first story. We went outside every day after school, and at that time we lived in the projects. Each set of projects in the Birmingham area are like villages, and as a matter of fact, they're called villages. It's like Loveman Village, Tom Brown Village, and things like that. And at this time, we lived, in the projects, and this boy was in our class, and he didn't even really talk to us at school, much if at all. And he lived in another section of the projects that we never went into. We weren't allowed to go on any other streets or anything like that. So this is a part of the projects that we had never seen. And for some reason, he was allowed to do that. Other kids could pretty much do what they want to. And so before we went outside, her mom told her, don't you let nobody use your bike. And my mom told me, don't you let nobody use your skates. And so we were like, okay, cool, whatever. We were just going to go outside, have fun. I was going to roll up and down the street. She was going to ride up and down the street. Really, we rode on the sidewalks because at that time there was no law saying that we couldn't. And if there was, we didn't know about it and we didn't care. So she's riding her bike. She's happy-go-lucky, jolly, laughing. It's springtime. It's beautiful. We're 7 years old and carefree. Next thing we know, this boy from our class comes up to her and asks her if he can ride her bike. She said, no, my mama said I couldn't let nobody ride my bike. He was like, come on, girl, I'm gonna give it back. She probably won't even know. And she said, no, my mama told me I couldn't let nobody ride my bike. She was gonna ride off with it, but he basically just snatches the bike from her and rides off with it into the sunset. Her sister and I were pissed off. We go back to the house and we run in. She's trailing behind us with tears rolling down her cheeks. And our moms asked us, what's wrong? We told her that my cousin got her bike stolen. And my mom got pissed off. She's probably in short shorts or tight jeans or something that day. And she was high. And because at that time my mom was a weed smoker. She doesn't do it anymore and hasn't in decades. But at that time she did. Excuse me. My voice is trying to go out. But anyways, so she puts on some shoes and she sashays out of the house. And guys were looking at her because my mom had that walk. And but she didn't care about no guys. She was on a mission. And my mom's head is turning this way and her head is turning that way because she's looking up and down each street for this bike. Next thing we know, she spots the bike and the boy, and she points and looks at my cousin and says, "That's your bike?" And my cousin nods, and my mom walks up behind the boy, snatches the seat, and brings that bike to a complete stop. My mom worked in a cookie factory at that time. She's 22 years old, and she was strong. Yes, I said I was 7 and she was 22. You do the math. Anyway, she brought that bike to a complete halt. The boy looks back. He sees us first, me and my 2 cousins, my 2 girl cousins. And then he sees my mom. And she was pissed. His eyes grew wide and he was like, I was finna give it back. She said, get your ass off that bike. And I mean now. He shakily gets off the bike because I guess he probably thought that my mom was going to snatch a knot in him, and she probably would have. She said a few more choice words to the boy, and we walked off with our chests poked out because we were just filled with so much pride as if we had done something, but my mom was a badass. But yeah, that was the first story time, and here comes the second. So at this time, my cousin and I are still in the second grade, and this girl wanted to fight her for basically no reason. We were at recess, and our teacher told us not to let anybody else use the jump rope. If I'm remembering correctly, each classroom was assigned a set of toys and things for kids to play with at recess, and we were just doing what we were told. And our teacher told us not to let anybody else use the jump rope, as I said. And so we were like, okay, whatever. And I was standing outside watching my cousin use the jump rope. This girl from another class walks over to us and asks us to use the jump rope. We were trying to tell her that our teacher said we couldn't let nobody else use the jump rope. We were just doing what we were told. We weren't mean to her. We just said nobody else can use it because our teacher said we couldn't let anybody else use the jump rope. She looks at my cousin and goes, "That's all right, I'm gonna get you after school." We're just looking at her like, what the hell is her problem? Because we were just doing what we were told. This little bitch didn't want to understand that. So after school comes, the bell rings, my cousin has no worries. And we go outside and we see the girl on the other end of the yard. And I told my cousin, I said, let's just go this way. This is the short way anyway. We can probably just get home and she won't see you. My cousin, being who she was at that time, she was like, no, I'm going to go that way. And I'm going to mess with the girl. I don't care. She ain't going to do nothing to me. And I said, girl, let's just go home this way. And she's like, nope. And so I followed her, shaking my head. She walks past the girl, sticks her tongue out, sticks her butt out at the girl. She's taunting the girl. And then she runs off, and that girl's like, that's all right, I'm going to get you. I walked off shaking my head, asking my cousin. Well, I didn't ask her out loud, but I was just like, girl, what did you just do? So we're walking home, and the girl runs up behind my cousin and tackles her and starts beating the crap out of her. She's punching her and kicking her, and she looks at me, you want some too? And I said, no. And so I ran off to find this boy from a high school to help. And by the time we get back to V, the girl is gone and V is on the ground crying. That's the name I'm using for her, is V. And so she's on the ground crying. We helped her up and dusted her off, and I help her back home. And my aunt sees her, dusty and dirty and crying and probably bruised, I don't know. And I'm just like standing there sick with worry that I was going to get into trouble. They asked what happened. I told her everything. I told her about the jump rope and our teacher and the girl and V messing with the girl and asking, do you want some too? And me saying no and going to get the boy. And they said, why didn't you help her? And I was like, I don't know. Because that was the only answer I could come up with at that time. I don't know. But really at that time, I didn't fight. I didn't know if I could fight. So if it wasn't my fight, I didn't try. And I didn't get in very many scraps. So I didn't get in any scraps. But anyway, yeah, that was the time my cousin got beat up after school, basically for no reason. But anyways, you guys, I hope you enjoyed these story times, the 2-for-1 special. And I love you guys and hope to see you on the next upload. Bye.